Thank you very much. I'm Lumumba Patrick, for those who are watching me for the first time. Today, I do not want to talk about politics. Politics will be for another day. On this Sunday afternoon, I want to talk about the cooperative sector or the cooperative movement in this country. I did explain in my first episode that I did a couple of days ago that the cooperatives that we have in Kenya came about as a result of the Cooperative Ordinance of 1945 by the colonial government. The colonial government realized that cooperatives were extremely important, and you remember organizations like KFA that were established by the colonialists to assist their white farmers. And KFA, I recall very well, was extremely beneficial to the white settlers at that time. And when Kenya became independent, KFA still continued to operate. And it's from KFA that what we call marketing societies were actually formed. But today, I want to talk about the Savings and Credit Cooperative Society. With the emergence of the middle class in Kenya, and as I explained last time, when the tier one banks in this country shut their doors on small savers in their banks, most of the members turned the cooperatives. I remember cooperative leaders meeting and most of them forming what we call FOSOs. Those are like front office services at the miniature banks, not controlled, of course, by the CBK. But today I want to talk about one issue that has been causing a lot of confusion in the cooperative sector, more so in SACCOs, the difference between shares and deposits. When a cooperative society is formed, in its bylaws, the first legal instrument that forms or causes the registration of a SACCO is known as bylaws. The bylaws actually borrows heavily from the Act, and it sets out the objective for which a particular cooperative or SACCO is being formed. Assuming a SACCO belongs maybe to a certain company, maybe Glasgow company or whichever company, even Safaricom, it will set in its objectives what we call the entrance fee, the shares, and of course the deposits. I'll explain what the shares are, the entrance fee. Entrance fee is money meant for the paperwork that is done and say, okay, for you to register as a member of our corporate society, maybe you pay an entrance fee of 1,000 shillings, non-refundable. Then in the bylaws, they will prescribe and say, for you to be a member of this SACCO, you must own at least a minimum of 100 shares whose nominal value is 100 shillings. So that forms the foundation of that SACCO. And these shares are non-withdrawable. They live in perpetuity. As long as the society is in existence, unless it has been legally liquidated, this money cannot be refunded. It can only earn you dividends at the end of the year that comes into your account. Then if you are a member of a SACCO, now you have to have what is known as deposits. Now your monthly savings or your weekly savings, it's what is known as deposits. These deposits, upon your exit from a corp society and upon you giving rightful notification of resignation or exit from the SACCO, can be refunded to you if you do not owe any obligations either to the SACCO or you have not guaranteed members. When you guarantee members, you tie up your deposits, which means that if tomorrow you have an issue and you want to withdraw, the first charge on that account is if you have guaranteed so and so much money. So my advice to the members of the SACCO, if a member approaches you, your colleague, and they are taking maybe 1 million shillings loan, and then they ask you, guarantee me, and you just guarantee, you must be detailed. You must specify in the guarantor's form that I'm only guaranteeing maybe 100,000 shillings, which means that in case of a problem, your liability to the SACCO is 100,000. But if you do not specify and say, I've just guaranteed you, and the member goes and the form is processed, it's assumed by the SACCO that you guaranteed the 1 million shillings. So this deposit is what you can withdraw lawfully upon fulfilling certain conditions. And as I said, if you don't have any liabilities. This is the money. If you have saved 100,000 shillings in a year, most circles will give it a multiplier effect of 3 or 4%. If it's 3, you are able to borrow up to Kenya shillings 300,000. And if you have saved more than 300,000 shillings, maybe you have saved 900,000, then you don't need guarantors. It means that you have enough money to guarantee yourself. So it's very important you understand that. So this idea that people are talking about that, oh, there's 1 trillion shillings sitting somewhere in an account is not there. The money is sitting in members' individual accounts in the form of loans. At the end of the year, when they have done their businesses, financial reporting is done, 31st of December. So when it's financial reporting is done, then the society will say less expenses like salaries and etc., bank charges, this is the much money we have made. So a cooperative society will pay interest on deposits and pay interest on shares. And I think it's very clear what shares are and what deposits are. So I don't want to hear people saying, oh, member shares are going to be attached to going to structural bonds, etc. Shares cannot be attached because these shares are non-withdrawable. They cannot be traded because this is what forms a foundation. If circles want to go into long-term investments, and as I said, members' demands for loan is unknown. A member today will have an emergency and will come for his money. He will come and say, I need an emergency loan. Emergency loan nowadays is given within hours. Development loan can even be given within a week or 3 days. Some societies circles are so efficient that if you apply for a development loan and you meet the criteria, you get your money in 24 hours. That's how good the circles have become. And I can tell you, for people who want to do business, and especially for micro enterprises, people are starting up. Your place to be is not in commercial banks. Ask me. I've had the opportunity to be a saver in a circle, and I have the opportunity to take loans from a commercial bank. You do not want to touch a commercial bank. So that's why circles must be safeguarded at all costs. If tomorrow, let's say, if Cusco was working well and it was liquid, maybe Cusco can say that the funds that we hold that are in excess can be invested in long-term ventures with government. 10 years, 15 years. That they can do. And the money is there. But I cannot imagine a situation where somebody thinks that the savings held by the Kenya Bankers Circle are sitting somewhere. So somebody will go and invest that money in any bond, in any long-term investment. It cannot work. So we need people to understand how circles work in this country. And we have enough cooperative officers who understand this. Engage the cooperative leaders. They are smart. They are smart. Cooperative leaders are extremely smart. And that's why they have been able to invest and build the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. They have been able to invest and build the cooperative insurance. And they were able to invest and build Cusco. Cusco was just brought down by mismanagement. And I said, where was Sasra? Was somebody sleeping on the job? Where was Sasra? Because Sasra was created as the central bank for the circles in this country. If things go wrong in a certain bank in Kenya, we'll ask if there is a liquidity issue, because banks are supposed to maintain a certain liquidity ratio that CBK can see 24 hours, 48 hours. They can access it hour by hour, minute by minute in the current technology that we have. Why in Sasra doing the same? So I want to implore Kenyans that you need to support the cooperative movement in this country, more especially circles. And that if there is anything that needs to be done to strengthen the circles in this nation, let it be done. And I can tell you, if you put some money Like now, for instance, the Nyota Fund, if you put it in well-managed circles, because the books are there, the multiplier effect will be huge and it can be felt. So I hope you have a good afternoon. I'll be coming more and more. And as I said, I'm available. I've had an opportunity to be trained and educated by the Kenyans, especially on the functionalities and the operations of the cooperatives in this nation. I'll be able to give free advice. Thank you and have a good evening.